So it's wonderful for us to be here. And I remember when Tina first mentioned to me about this group a couple of years or so ago, I felt this was really part of our community, part of our family, spiritual family. One of the things I've discovered over the years is that meditation has this strange power to bring people together and to create community and put them in touch with each other in a deep way. So I felt that this group has always been part of our family and our community, and I look forward to being here with you and to sharing a little of our understanding of meditation with you, but also learning from you in the discussion and the sharing time that we have later. I would really like to hear what you have to say about meditation and what it has meant to you in your life. And I've no doubt that you've got something that I can take from here and share with people in other parts of the world. And I travel a lot. I'm a monk, a Benedictine monk. I have two monasteries, one with walls and the other without walls. And the one without walls is the meditation community, which is in many countries now. So I travel a lot around that monastery without walls, meditating with people and introducing people to meditation and helping communities to grow. But in the process I learn a lot, and I'm very much enriched by this kind of sharing that we'll have today. So I'm very grateful to you all for who you are, what you're doing, and maybe just to let you know that you are part of our community. And we all belong to different groups, different communities, different networks, but I hope you do feel already very much part of our Christian meditation community. So I was talking to someone the other day who is going in for a serious operation, cancer operation. And he has a very good chance of coming through well, I think, but he's a bit nervous about it, of course. But he's been on a spiritual path for some years, and it's sort of his illness brought on his sense of Christian faith, and he wanted to commit himself to that at this time. And I baptized him quite recently, a few days ago. And before he got the diagnosis about meditation, about his cancer, he was already starting to meditate. So the timing was all quite mysterious and wonderful for him, really. And he said to me after the baptism, he said, you know, finding meditation came at just the right moment in my journey, in my life. And he said, every day it means more and more to me. And he said, my question is, you know, why did it take me so long to find it? And it's a very well-kept secret, he said. And in some ways it is. Some people have said it's the best-kept secret in the church. I meet many people, and you've all, I'm sure, met them or read about them, who teach meditation and meditate from just a secular point of view. In fact, here in Boston, about 40 years ago, in Harvard, or I think it was Harvard Medical School, they started research into meditation just from a medical and psychological point of view. And that research has been built on over the years. Now we know lots of things about meditation with the body and with the mind. We know that it's good for you. Meditation is beneficial. It's good for your body, it's good for your immune system, it's good for your blood pressure, it's good for your stress. Many of our physical problems arise out of stress, of course, as well. helps you to sleep better at night, helps you to control your anger, and it generally makes you feel better about life. When I was reading the other day all the benefits that meditation brings you, the one benefit I thought it didn't bring, and I'm the living proof of it, is that it doesn't restore your hair. But all the other good things are, well, you're okay. Shaggy, you're well named. Anyway, so we get all these benefits from meditation. So you could call those the psychological and physical benefits. But of course, the way we're practicing it here, and the way Tina has introduced it to you, and the way some of you are already beginning to share it and teach it to others, is as a spiritual path, a spiritual way, as a way of prayer. But the prayer of the heart, rather than just speaking to God, thinking about God. This is really about being with God. So, I was, you may have heard about this story of this Russian peasant about 200 years ago, who was in church one day, and he heard the priest read from the altar a passage from the New Testament, where it says, "You must pray at all times, pray continuously." And this just stuck in his mind. Couldn't get rid of the idea of, what does it mean to pray at all times? So he started going around, lots of people, priests and theologians and teachers and experts of various kinds, asking them what this meant. How do you pray at all times? Obviously you can't be on your knees all day, you can't be speaking to God all the time, you can't be thinking about God all the time. You've got other things to think about, other things to speak about, other things to do. So what does it mean then to pray at all times? So eventually he was beginning to despair that anyone could tell him. And then he met an old monk somewhere who said to him, well, there is a way. He said, what you have to realize is that it's not you doing the praying, but it's the Spirit praying in you. And the Spirit is praying in you 24/7, continuously. And what we do is to tune into that. We tap into that. We open our minds, our hearts, and even our bodies to that experience. It's just there, it's just given. It's like oil, you know, under the ground or under the ocean. It's there, waiting for us to find it and release it. So he said, well, that makes sense. You know, I don't have to do it so much, but how can I let it, you know, untap it? How can I let it out? How can I find it? So the monk told him, basically, the way of meditation that we all practice. He said, you take a word, you repeat the word continuously, and little by little, the word begins to sink into your heart, and then, as it sinks into your heart, it unlocks this great river, this great stream of the prayer of the Spirit. And you remember, I don't know if you remember, St. Paul says somewhere, we do not know how to pray. We don't know how to pray, but the Spirit prays in us. So that's the basic Christian understanding, you know, of meditation, that it is about our way of receiving this gift that God has put into us. But, you know, the human person, each one of us, whatever history we've got, good or bad, good times and bad times, success or failure, we've all had a mixture of them all. But every single one of us is like a parcel that has not yet been fully opened. And when you give a present to someone, you like to wrap it up a little bit because it makes it special. And it's quite fun then watching the person, especially children, unwrapping the parcel so that they can find out what the gift is inside. And in a way, that's what life is. Life is about unwrapping this parcel that we are and finding the gift that God has given us in this person that we think we know. But we don't know ourselves fully yet, because we haven't fully opened the parcel. We will know ourselves and know who we are when we've unwrapped all the parcel and we found this pure gift of being deep in our own heart. And that's, why meditation is so important. Meditation is an important part of the unwrapping of this parcel and discovering the great gift of the Spirit that is there, within us. Another way of understanding meditation, I think, that makes sense to us today, as well as the prayer of the heart, which is what it's called, is to say it's simply about being in the present moment. Being here and now. And if you think about it, that's pretty obvious. When we are here, we are now. We can't be anywhere else at this moment than where we are. And yet, most of the time, we're not here and now. We may be sitting here in this room, around this candle, but in fact we may be thinking about what's for lunch, or what am I going to do this evening, or is it going to rain at 2 p.m. this afternoon, as the town crier told us as we were coming across the common just now. Told us, it's nice and sunny now, it's going to rain at 2 o'clock. Well, maybe we do need to know it's going to rain at 2 o'clock, but it's important just to enjoy the sunshine while it's shining. So, in meditation, we are simply learning to let go of the past with all its baggage. A lot of us carry a lot of baggage around. Maybe physical baggage sometimes, but also sometimes just a lot of mental baggage, emotional baggage. And we also let go of the future. We let go of the worries. Is it going to rain or not? Are things going to work out for me as I hope or not? Our fears and anxieties about the future. So in meditation, as we say the word, we say the mantra, we're just allowing ourselves to sort of slip and to stay in this present moment. And the present moment has everything. It contains everything. God is, that's it, God is. Anything else we say about God is secondary. But the one thing we can really say is God exists. I am is the only name that God gave himself. So it's when we come into the present moment by letting go of our thoughts of the past and the future and our anxieties and our regrets, it's then that this wonderful experience can open up for us. It's like the opening of a flower. There's nothing complicated about it. It's not a big technique. You don't have to learn any great technique. You don't have to read lots of books or listen to lots of talks. You just need to know how to do it, and then most of us, I would say all of us as far as I can see, need a little help from our friends to do the work, to keep going at it. And that's why, coming together regularly like you do to meditate together is a tremendous gift. If you want to really make this journey to the center, to unwrap this parcel and find the gift that's waiting there, for us. I just wanted to say one other thing to share with you, because that's the good news about meditation. That it's a free gift. Any fool can do it. You don't have to be any particular personality type. You just have to want to do it, and you have to sort of tune in to what it, tune into it. And then you have to trust it. You have to maybe take a little step of faith to experience it. But it's really about experience. It's not about me or anyone else telling you what meditation is and why you should do it and all the rest. It's really about you discovering, all of us discovering this in our own experience. So experience is the real teacher when meditation is there. But we're not the first people to meditate. And this is a journey, this is a process that we start. And like any journey, sometimes it's going to take you to a few difficult moments, some bends in the road, some times when you miss the connection, you miss the bus, and you're left standing there in the rain. Sometimes the journey doesn't unfold smoothly. So it's very helpful to have some sense that you are making this journey in a great family, spiritual family, that is bigger than this group, bigger than our global community. In fact, it goes back right to the very beginning of our Christian tradition, the teaching of Jesus himself. Maybe later we can talk a little bit about that, because when I read the teaching of Jesus on prayer, I see him teaching exactly what we're doing. He's teaching us, doesn't say you have to go to church, synagogue, mosque, temple. He doesn't say you have to pray this way or that way. What he says is what? Go into your inner room. Let go of your fears and anxieties and desires. Learn to pay attention and be in the present moment. That's basically his teaching. So he's teaching us this way of meditation. But the thing I just wanted to mention was that on any journey we will run up against blocks or diversions at times. Suddenly we're going along a nice clear road, and then suddenly the road is blocked and you've got a diversion. Well, it's very helpful to know from our Christian tradition, from people who've made this journey before us, what some of those blocks might be, so that we can handle them better when they come up. And the early Christian monks actually named these blocks with labels that we're all familiar with, actually. Anger, pride, lust, greed, laziness, despair, and a few others. So, is there anyone here who hasn't at some time come up against one or other of those blocks?
There's about 100.
100 of them, yeah. Now, has anyone come up against all those blocks at the same time? Okay. All at the same time? Wow. That's a big block.
Life is complicated.
Life is very complicated. Well, there are certainly...
Life on life's terms is very, very complicated.
Yes, it can be. That's why meditation is the great simplifier. Yeah. Anyway, usually you don't meet all these blocks at the same moment. But sometimes you can recognize that there's a pattern there. You can recognize certain things or certain people who make you angry and release a lot of anger into your system and really upset you. And then it takes you time to get that anger out of your system and calm down again. Or maybe it's lust, or maybe it's a feeling of despair, deep depression. My life's no good. Anything I do is going to fail. I missed the boat. So we all have those moments. And the important thing that meditation can give us, I think, is a very, very simple way of dissolving those blocks. Because it's really, those blocks are not so big as we think. When they come, they seem like the biggest things in the world. And we think we can never get through them. But you simply have to sit there, come back to the meditation, say your word faithfully, and little by little, those blocks get dissolved. And when they get dissolved, then they may come back again, of course, later. But each time they come back less powerful. You're gradually reducing their power over you. And as they reduce, so your heart opens. And you become closer and closer to that beautiful gift at the center of your being. For me, that's why meditation is so universal. This is a special group of people. I've meditated with groups of children in all different parts of the world, rich and poor. I've meditated with people in the 12-step program, some of you may be in it as well, who've discovered the 11th step. I've meditated with business people, with students. And I can only say that I have not found that there's only one type, any one age, any one psychological profile that is better suited to meditation than anyone else. Maybe there is, but I haven't found it yet. So all I can conclude is that this is really the universal path that God has given us as a human race, as a human family, as His children. And it's a simple way to be what God wants us to be, to accept the gift of our being, and to get over the blocks that life presents. Even getting over those blocks may be part of the work we have to do. When you see meditation like this, so it's not just about lowering your cholesterol or improving your blood pressure. When you see meditation like this, I think then it makes sense when you read or when you're told from the spiritual tradition we belong to that meditation is the work of love. And that, I think, is the best explanation we have of why it works, because it is the work of love. We know in Christian faith that God is love. Simple formula that fits every situation. God is love. And meditation is the work of love in two senses. First of all, it is allowing God's love to work in us. So it's allowing ourselves to be touched and healed by His love. And in the other sense, it is about our learning, little by little, how to love God. And what does love mean? Think of any moment of love in your life, at any point in your life, where you have felt loved. And I think when you call that to mind, you will be remembering a moment when you felt that someone, somewhere, was paying attention to you. As you are, for what you are, here and now. And accepting you just as you are. I think that's what love is. It's paying attention and accepting the other person. And of course, to love yourself is the same thing. You have to accept yourself as you are and pay attention to yourself in the right way. So that's an explanation, makes sense to me anyway, of why meditation can be called the work of love. And if there's one benefit of meditation that overrides all the others, is more powerful and more meaningful than all the others, it's simply that it makes you a more loving person. You become a little center of love wherever you are, walking around the streets, waiting for a bus, sitting in a room, wherever you are. You become a little dynamo of love. This life of the Spirit that's going on in your heart is pouring out of you, even if you don't say anything. I had an old friend of mine called Rosie Lovett, who's 95 years old, who died about 2-3 weeks ago. And I'd known her for about 30 years, since she began to meditate. And she was one of those very rare people that she got meditation immediately, understood it immediately, took it up on a daily basis and never let go of it. Most of us, including me, you start, you stop, you don't do it very well for a while, and it takes some time to get into it. But Rosie just went right into it. And then in the last few years of her life, she had a lot of losses. She lost 3 sons and a husband, a lot of suffering. And but in the last few years of her life, she began to lose her short-term memory. She never went into complete dementia or Alzheimer's or anything, but she always recognized me. But the conversation was always very, a bit cyclical, a bit repetitive. But whenever I went to see her, I'd be traveling, I'd come back to London, and I'd like to go and see her and say Mass with her and meditate for a while together. And she was already in a continuous state of prayer. She'd meditated very regularly, faithfully for many years. And then, when her brain cells started to go, her heart kept going. And you felt it. You just had to sit with her. And you knew that this was a loving person, just doing nothing really, except emitting, like a signal, beep, 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 just emitting this power, this energy of love and peace. And you just had to sit with her for a while and to know that she was blessing you. She wasn't saying anything or doing anything. She wasn't trying to do anything. So that to me was a sign of how meditation can bring us into continuous prayer. And if any of us could come a little bit close to that, we would be very blessed. Okay, well let's take our time to meditate together.